Do you believe that you're strengthening your bones every time you drink that glass of cold milk or eat a bowl of whole grain cereal for breakfast? What if I told you that some of these foods, which seem like great allies for your bone health, might be doing exactly the opposite over time? It may sound like an exaggeration, but science is clear. After 60, what you eat can either help keep your bones strong or speed up bone mass loss without you even realizing it. In this video, you will discover 5 misleading foods. Foods that are sold as good for the bones, but in reality may be depleting your bone structure with every bite or sip. And the most surprising part, many of them are present daily, on the tables of those who believe they are taking care of their health. Nothing here is opinion or guesswork. Everything is based on studies published in recognized medical journals, reviewed by experts in geriatric nutrition and bone metabolism. Once you know this, you can make small changes that will have a big impact on your quality of life and independence. Let's start with the first food on our list, and perhaps the most controversial. Excess cow's milk, yes, milk. Since we were little, we've been told it's essential for bones because of the calcium. But here's the thing, modern science shows that consuming large amounts of milk, especially after 60, may not have the positive effect we expected. Studies from Harvard University and the British Medical Journal analyzed thousands of elderly people who regularly drank milk. And what did they find? Those who consumed excessive amounts of milk, 3 or more cups a day, had a higher risk of fractures, especially hip fractures. The reason lies in the excess lactose and galactose, 2 types of sugar naturally present in milk. Over time, these substances increase oxidative stress and promote silent chronic inflammation. This inflammation interferes with bone density and the hormonal balance necessary to keep calcium in the bones. Let's see this in practice. Joe, a 73-year-old man, drinks milk 3 times a day, in the morning coffee, the afternoon snack, and before bed. He believes he is protecting his bones, but lately he's been feeling back pain and even had a minor fall that caused a microfracture. When his doctor reviewed his diet, she realized that the excess milk was contributing to a mild inflammatory condition, impairing the absorption of the calcium he was trying to preserve. Now, look at Frank, the same age. He chose to consume milk, in moderation, preferring natural yogurts rich in probiotics, and complementing his diet with calcium-rich vegetables like kale and broccoli. The result? Exams show stable bone density and no fractures in recent years, even with regular physical activities. Practical action. Reduce milk to no more than 1 cup per day and vary your calcium sources. Include dark leafy vegetables, sesame, seeds, tofu, and sardines with bones. Your body will thank you, and so will your bones. If this information is surprising to you so far, comment below number 1, so I know you're following along and that this is making sense to you. And if you've had any fractures or bone pain in recent years, share with me in the comments. I want to understand how your bone health is. Now let's move on to the second food on the list. This one often appears as a healthy alternative, but it has a catch: whole grain cereal with sugar. That bowl of whole grain cereal with a colorful box and phrases like fortified with calcium and iron seems like a smart choice, right? But there's a serious problem hidden inside that seemingly healthy package: added sugar. Many processed whole grain cereals, even those marketed for adults, contain high amounts of refined sugar, and sugar is one of the biggest enemies of bone health. According to a study from Tufts University, diets high in simple sugars increase calcium excretion through urine and reduce the formation of osteoblasts, which are the cells responsible for building bones. In simple terms, too much sugar makes your bones weaker and more vulnerable to fractures. Let's look at the characters. Nancy, an active 68-year-old woman, started eating whole grain cereal with milk every morning. She thought it was a balanced meal. But after a few months, she began to notice her nails were more fragile and persistent knee pain started to bother her more. The doctor, upon reviewing her diet, found over 25 grams of hidden sugar per serving in the cereal she was consuming. On the other hand, Carol, also 68, opts for homemade oatmeal without sugar, sweetening it with ripe banana and cinnamon. Instead of an inflammatory food, she consumes a breakfast rich in fiber, minerals, and antioxidants. She feels more energized. Her pains have decreased, and her tests show a good inflammatory profile in her blood. Practical action. Avoid ready-made cereals, even the whole grain ones. Read the labels. Prefer homemade preparations with oats, chia, flaxseed, and fruits. Less sugar, tarch, more strength in your bones. And tell me, do you usually eat boxed cereal? What's your favorite? Share in the comments, because many people might be in the same situation and haven't realized it yet. Now that we've seen two of the main false friends of the bones, the journey continues. There are still 3 more surprising foods that seem to help, but actually weaken. Each one brings a different trap, whether it's hidden salt, health claims, or even trends that don't align with those over 60. Have you noticed how certain foods appear in commercials and health magazines with the promise of taking care of your body from the inside? They are often presented as almost magical solutions to keep your bones strong, especially after a certain age. But when we take a closer look through the lens of science, we discover that marketing doesn't always match reality. And the third food on our list is a perfect example of that. Industrialized orange juice with added calcium. You walk into the supermarket, see a carton of orange juice with a very eye-catching label, fortified with calcium. It gives you a sense of security, right? After all, calcium is essential for the bones. But here's the alert. The way this calcium is added and the type of juice we are consuming makes all the difference. Most industrialized juices are rich in concentrated fructose and low in fiber. When we drink this type of juice, especially on an empty stomach or in large quantities, it causes blood sugar spikes. And this imbalance directly affects the process of mineral absorption, including calcium itself. Additionally, excess fructose increases uric acid production and causes inflammation that interferes with bone health. Let's look at George's case, who is 70 years old. He replaced soda with calcium-fortified orange juice, thinking he was doing himself a huge favor. But in just a few months, he started having joint pain episodes and frequent fatigue. When he investigated with his nutritionist, they discovered he was consuming almost twice the recommended daily amount of fructose, and without the benefits of whole fruit, like the fiber that helps control this absorption. Meanwhile, his friend, John, opted to eat the whole fruit. 2 oranges a day with pulp, and occasionally a small glass of freshly squeezed juice. Not only did he reduce inflammation levels in his body, but he also had a slight but significant increase in lumbar bone density in his recent tests. Practical action. Replace industrialized juice with fresh fruit, preferably with skin or pulp. And if you want to drink juice, make it natural and in small quantities. Remember, it's the balance between nutrients that strengthens, not the label on the E. Package. By the way, comment below. Do you usually drink boxed juice or prefer to make it fresh? I want to see how many people are still stuck in this habit, because maybe a small change could have a big impact on your health. Now let's move on to the 4th food. This one is even present in almost every diet of those trying to eat light, but it has a silent and dangerous effect when consumed frequently. Calcium-rich cereal bars. Have you seen those bars on the pharmacy or supermarket shelf with words like sugar-free, fortified with vitamins, and excellent for bones? Well, it seems like the ideal choice for a quick snack. But behind this modern packaging and health claims, many of these bars hide ingredients that in practice weaken the bones. Most processed bars contain ingredients like corn syrup, hydrogenated, vegetable oils, and even small doses of caffeine used as stimulants or flavor enhancers. These elements have a cumulative effect on the body. They increase the acidity in the body, deplete important minerals from the bones to compensate for this imbalance, and ultimately lead to more bone mass loss. Let's look at the story of Susan, 72 years old. She was trying to maintain a light diet and started eating 2 of these bars a day, one between breakfast and lunch and another in the evening. She thought she was avoiding bread, cookies, and sweets, but her tests started showing low levels of vitamin D and calcium in her blood, along with an increase in bone demineralization, especially in her wrists and ankles. On the other hand, her friend Linda, who is the same age, prepared small snacks at home with nuts, dried apricots, and natural yogurt with chia seeds. In addition to avoiding chemical additives, she consumed magnesium, phosphorus, and good fats, which are essential nutrients for bone rebuilding. Practical action: avoid industrialized bars. If you want something practical, opt for a handful of nuts, a piece of white cheese with fruit, or natural yogurt with flaxseed. What's natural, simple, and less processed will always be better for the bones and for the entire body. If you're enjoying this content and still with me, comment below number 4 so I know you're keeping up. And feel free to like the video, because it helps spread this type of information to other people your age who might be harming themselves without even knowing. We're almost at the end of our list. There's one more food that seems like the pinnacle of health, but hides a detail that could be taking precious minerals from your bones day by day. It's the type of product that gained popularity in recent years, but isn't always what it seems. Maybe this is the most unexpected item on our list. A food that has become synonymous with healthy living, used by young people, athletes, and those who want to lighten their diet. It's present in salads, smoothies, and even in fit recipes. But for those over 60, this product may hide a real risk for the bones, especially when it replaces real meals: ultra-processed plant-based milk with additives in. Recent years, plant-based milks, such as almond, soy, rice, and oat milk, have gained significant space on the shelves. In theory, they seem perfect: lactose-free, fewer calories, some versions, fortified with calcium. But let's look beyond the pretty label. Many of these products are highly industrialized, filled with thickeners, stabilizers, and additives like carrageenan, a thickening agent associated with intestinal inflammation. And here's the main point: an inflamed or imbalanced gut reduces the absorption of the minerals bones need. In other words, you might even be drinking something rich in calcium, but your body simply isn't able to utilize this nutrient. And more. Some of these milks have low protein content, which also negatively affects bone health. Yes, bones need quality protein to regenerate and stay strong. Let's see how this affects real life. Tom, a 74-year-old man, decided to replace cow's milk with almond milk. He started using it in the morning coffee, afternoon snack, and even in recipes. The problem is that the milk he chose contained more additives than nutrients and almost no protein. He started losing muscle mass, feeling more tired, and his tests showed a significant drop in hip bone density. Meanwhile, his friend Mike, also 74, used plant-based milk too, but in a different way. He read the label carefully, chose brands without additives, and sometimes made his own oat milk at home using only water, oats, and a little cinnamon. And the most important thing, he didn't give up on traditional sources of protein and calcium from natural food. His tests remained stable. He stays active, walks daily, and maintains good posture, signaling that his bones are still supporting his body well. Practical action: if you consume plant-based milk, read the labels. Avoid those with carrageenan, xanthan gum, artificial flavorings, and sweeteners. Whenever possible, prefer homemade or organic versions, and never use plant-based milk as a total substitute for protein or full meals. It can be a supplement, but not the main source. And now, if you're still here with me, comment below number 5 to show that you've made it through the list. It's very important to know that there are people on the other side taking this seriously, because what we're talking about here is not really food. It's about autonomy, about living well, about being able to walk, climb stairs, bend, down to play with the grandkids or take care of the garden, without fear of falling, without fear of breaking a bone from a simple stumble. The truth is, after 60, every food choice matters. We're no longer in the phase of eating anything and compensating later. The body asks for intelligence, it asks for care, it asks for precision, and the most beautiful thing about it is that it doesn't require crazy diets or expensive supplements. It needs attention, consciousness, listening to the body and to science. And if you've made it this far, it's because you're seeking that. So let me give you one last piece of advice, with an open heart. Don't feel guilty for what you've eaten until now. You did the best you could with what you knew, but from today on you know more, and with that you can do better. Your bones are not like rocks that age and break. They are living tissues. They regenerate. They get stronger with the right stimuli, with the right nutrients, with the right movements. So take control of your diet. Be wary of foods that seem healthy. Question the labels, choose natural whenever possible, and maintain a routine that respects your body. Because what you gain from this is not just health, it's freedom. If this video helped you in any way, I ask you, like it below, share it with a friend who is on the same journey. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so now. Here, we talk about longevity with truth, with scientific evidence, and with a lot of respect for those who have lived so much and deserve to live even more with quality.